Good morning. It is 7:45 a.m. on Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up and then watched the newest episode of Disney Plus's Loki, and this is 5 more minutes. So, yeah, because I'm interested in these shows and it is very difficult to avoid spoilers until you've watched it, I've enjoyed this getting up and watching it first thing sort of thing. It's an interesting change of pace just because I normally think of like, well, it's the evening when I watch TV shows and all that. And so, obviously this is not the first time I'm talking about doing this. I've been doing it with with other shows previously, but kind of enjoying it a little bit. Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil the episode or anything. Although I I liked I liked it. So all I'll say about it in a very general sort of non-spoilery way is that I pretty much liked everything about it except sort of the background sci-fi scenario feels there's a weird pacing to it is all. Um, it's fine. Like that, it's not what the episode's really about ultimately. Although I will say the episode surprised me. Like there was several things that it did where I'm like, oh, hmm. Anyway, um, last night we had another session of Dungeons and Dragons, so many levels, and I think it went pretty well. I'm experimenting a little bit more with focusing less on like creating a map with all the tactical grid, square by square sort of combat, and going back a little bit more towards cinema of the mind, theater of the mind is what I mean, um, and having things just be depicted that way, even when big things are happening. And I feel like it went pretty well, and I definitely want to. I think I want to move a little bit more in that direction. Part of what I've been thinking about lately is that I think it's possible in these games, and I doubt there. Certainly there are lots of. I'm not saying anything that people haven't been discussing a lot in the game space generally. When I use a program or a website like Roll20, I I sometimes talk about having this love-hate relationship with it because on the one hand, it can do a lot of things that are very, very cool. You use maps, it can give everybody the ability to move their own token, it can do like dynamic line of sight sort of stuff where like, depending on where someone's token is, it dictates what on the map they can see, as opposed to just having to use your imagination to say, well, looking at the map, my character would be able to see this, but not this, but the player can actually see everything. Um, and doing all of that sort of thing. And one of the things that I think I really like about it is just that it does give visuals to everybody. And it allows the combat to be more tactical, which in a lot of respects, I mean, the game is kind of designed to be. A lot of the spells and so on are really governed by, ranges and areas of effect and that sort of thing. And so if you don't have that stuff defined, it takes a layer of texture out of the game. But at the same time, I think it's possible to get a little too bogged down in that stuff. And certainly, like with Roll20, the more ambitious you get, the more excuse me, goodness, felt that coming like a long way away. I thought I could beat it. Um, the more ambitious you get with all the different little bells and whistles you add, the more kind of fiddly it gets. The more little details you kind of have to, tweak here and there and everything, and it gives you lots of options. But what that ends up meaning in some cases is that you end up wanting to do a certain thing, but having to go through lots of different option menus to try to find the thing that you want, and occasionally something you didn't mean to change gets changed, and so now it's doing a different thing. And I don't know. Yeah, I've been feeling a little bit more frustrated with that lately, and so I'm thinking in my head about maybe moving more back towards theater of the mind a little bit. Not that I'm ever, you know, all the way on one side or the other, but just thinking about it. In any case, I'll leave it there for now, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.